PL, just because I see PLs tend to they'll just adjust with maybe like S and Y instead of Manta, or they'll just go like Manta Satanic. So if they get called, they just have the status resistance plus the lifesteal to man up on you. So what I'm saying about that is none of the heroes prior to the Axe had seen the PL, none of which are good against PL, and now I don't think the Axe solves the problem. So I always think of PL as a hero that needs to be addressed, probably the archetypal example of a carry that needs to be countered. Otherwise, he has a free game.
I'm intently watching the Shadow Fiend Soul Gathering. He messed one up. He came with he tried to get 4 with Bloodlust, which it doesn't seem to be possible because
it's limited by the other guy attacking, right?
Well, he had the Ogre help. There were 4 men doing it.
Oh, the 4-man
But when they brought the 4th hero in, he only got 2 instead of 3. So they went for 4 and got 2. So I think they decided...
Go big or go home, they always say.
Well, no,
this time they went home.
They quickly abandoned the 4-man Soul Gathering, and he's going to go to lane with... He gets 12 in the end. I'm not sure.
So what do you think about the religious implications that Ice Frog has of these cogs having souls, gods? No comment on that one?
I don't know how to reply to that one. I'm trying to think. That's a very deep question.
Intense,
it's early in the morning.
Yeah.
It's not even 8 o'clock. Sun's just coming up, you know?
It's a real thinker, you know? Something you can ponder for a little while and maybe come back to at some point.
Wards as well have souls, right?
Yeah. Those have eyes, though, so it's like kind of... But cogs are just machines. Yeah. There's a lot more implication, I think, to the cogs.
And then do you think of all the times, like, as a clockwork, you're denying your own cogs? You're killing a living creature? You're just killing a little
soul, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it hasn't...
At least in this case, it's going somewhere.
Yeah, I was about to get like really political there and be like, you know, it hasn't come out into the world yet. Like, I'm like, okay, let's not go there.
Okay, it's not that early, God. You can't say stuff like that and have a get out of jail free card. So we are in for a difficult mid lane, I imagine, for the TA playing against the free souls on Shadow Fiend. 40 already. He's got the level 2. Oh my God, is he gonna kill him? Okay, does have the refraction come up. That would have been real close otherwise. Threatening the pump fake raises. Does miss the range, I think, there because the missed uphill. Doing okay for himself, 40R. Did already have to pop a salve, but he got a lot of good harass back on the SF there. He'll have to pop a salve of his own. Oh,
he's going in for this kill.
Way overstepped.
I believe he's got this. Murdoch has a fairy fire. He's not going to pop it and just dies.
That's the classic. He's so focused on denying, and the other guy's like, what are you doing? You're not allowed to deny these creeps. I'm not even going to worry about last hitting him. I'm just going to kill you.
Well, that is an embarrassing first blood that Murdoch is going to want to forget.
Nobody saw it, though, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Every time something happens like that, when your teammate messes up and he says sorry, you just say, don't worry about it, man. Nobody saw it, especially when I'm streaming and I saw it happen, so everyone watching the stream saw it happen. I just tell them nobody saw it. It's the best thing you can do in that type of scenario.
Gaslighting your viewers. Got it. That's the high-level streamer plays.
You got to develop your own meta after doing it for long enough.
Yep. So we're seeing a Brewmaster. Hero not all too popular. We saw some stats there. It's only been played like 3 times this DPC. This hero's just been missing from the meta for a while.
He's just kind of an awkward hero. I don't know. They buffed his ultimate a little bit, so it does a pretty good amount of damage now, especially in the early game. I don't know. It's really nice against Terrorblade. You have the Dispel for his illusions. You can throw him up in the air if you need be. It's nice against Axe for that same reason. It's a nice team fighter. We are going to have a little bit of trouble here for the Snapfire, but that Cookie turns out to be a pretty damn good spell. Snapfire has proven to be one of the worst heroes to play against this Clockwork for me as well. Just saving herself or her teammates from cogs with Cookie.
Yep.
Doing a good job of blocking them from cutting the wave or at least contesting this without getting himself killed. So really well played by whatever that name is. Akcha?
It's just KJ, I think. With
KJ?
some weird symbols around the KJ.
Gotcha.
At least that's what I believe it is.
Okay. Couldn't tell if those were A's or, you know, some arbitrary symbol.
Yeah. They look like the Soviet sickle.
They do. You're also pretty grim today as well. They do.
What do you mean? It's just a communism sign.
True. Bloodlust used bottom, or I mean, Metamorph, excuse me, used bottom. Level 2. To no avail just yet, but the stun does come out. And he's trying to body block, but that is a like very fast Brewmaster when he activates that third spell.
RDO's, oh, whoa. Bit of a
They're trying
miscue
to
there
fight
with the
this
cookie.
Terrorblade. Oh, that. He has the Ring of Tarrasque.
Yeah,
like we were talking about before. Very powerful item on this hero.
Looked like they were trying to cookie their way in, but then Tavo, who had other ideas, and yeah, with the Ring of Tarrasque, you're pretty hard to bring down here. You've got 12 base armor plus the regen and bonus health from the ring.
They're going on him again. The Metamorph is expiring, so this time around, worst case scenario, they get a lot of damage. There's no chance of harassing back or anything like that. They do kill him. Duster lifted up, nothing to follow it up. Does stun just in case. Heiko, he's here for the party. Don't leave this Clockwork out, but nope, nothing to do here.
It's kind of a dream scenario for NoPing. They have PL free farming by himself, and they're able to tri-lane and pressure the Terrorblade.
You know, I've thought about this a lot as a carry player, or former, I guess, but how do you create scenarios in a game where your carry is allowed to play like PL and the opponent carry stuck with this? How do you create it? I actually don't know the science behind this in the draft.
Okay.
But mid lane, there's a major back and forth between these two. Does end up sniping him with that long-range raise. Did have a couple pump fakes. We were talking about earlier, the more you pump fake, the less likely you are to hit, but he nails that one. But this is like the dream scenario you were talking about, right? Like Costa Bile, he's just farming. He's already level 6. Meanwhile, Terrorblade's barely level 4. 3-on-3 bottom lane. As a Terrorblade, what are you supposed to do about this? You know, at this point, usually it tells me you lost the draft. Like, it's not an exactly quantifiable thing, you know? Like, how do you make it so the enemy carry gets contested like this and you don't? But this is exactly the dream scenario. Do have a contest bottom, trying to relieve a little bit of pressure on this Terrorblade, but if I'm this Terrorblade, I'm thinking, I don't have meta, man. Can we just chill? Let me hit some creeps?
Heiko's gone in really deep with 3 enemy heroes surrounding him. They'll pull him back in with the lift. He may still survive with the boots and windlace. He's pretty speedy, but Tavo chasing after him. No mana for the TP.
Oh my god, he's too off.
He'll have it soon, but it may be too late.
Is he going for it?
No, he's not.
No,
I think
the 90 gold TP is worth more than his life. Nope.
He's still being chased down here.
That does activate the pass or the Cinder Brew.
Yep. Now Metamorph comes back up. RDO gonna pop that one, but really just to farm some creeps, it feels like right now. Back at top,
can you guys go away?
He's being dope. Oh. Okay. Axe with a free game as well. So even though Costabile hasn't really been pressured, well, he is being pressured now. Sexyfat's had a pretty free game himself, so the pressure is coming his way. Okay.
He almost got dunked there. He was at the threshold.
Yep.
After that last spin. At this point, I'm pretty surprised Costa Bile's letting this happen. I think you just play away from the axe. You start cutting the creep wave behind him, but you have to have enough health such that you don't just get killed. He's keeping his catapult alive, but meanwhile, he's trying to man up on him. The dunk! I don't exactly know what the intent there was. That was questionable right when I saw him run in, because PL is 100% physical damage like that, and then once he calls, he takes very little of it, so very confusing play from Costa Billy there.
Yeah, he was really gung-ho and trying to kill that axe just because he was tanking some tower shots, but
he was feeling himself, and then now he gets time to really reflect on whether or not he should have been.
And he was feeling axe getting no spins there with like what,
with
illusions
4 illusions hitting him, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, don't worry, I've got the RNG.
You know the "Do you feel lucky?" punk.
Yep.
You know that was him to himself right there. That's a pretty big kill because the tri-lane bottom, basically at this point, the 3-on-3 means that the 2 heroes top are getting a ton of levels, and if one of them kills the other, he's even further accelerating himself. Already level 8.5, working towards a Vanguard. TA also is working on recovery in the mid lane, down by 20 CS and almost a full level, but
back in mid.
Oh,
close.
It's just crazy that he was given this sole advantage and then he threw it away with that one death. And now TA, despite being slightly behind in levels and also in CS, is just bullying him away like this.
Yep.
Clockwork just doing his best to cut the creep wave, actually preserving it for his mid laner. I would have dragged this into tower range for sure. I'm level 3.5. Let me have the damn XP.
Yeah. This is the stage of the game where your mid's meant to go jungle.
Yeah, get out of here. It's like doubling my XP per minute if I get this creep wave.
This is where like the Yapsters of the world basically get their solo lane.
Yapsor would be caught dead playing Clockwork. No way. I refuse to believe that one.
Yeah. Uh-oh. There's a pause coming out. Theurlico used the Rubik telekinesis already, and is still going to get caught out by the Clockwork. So he's going to need some help here, but he's got help on the way.
Did you see the Schofield build on Clock yesterday, by the way?
I did not.
He went 204.
Oh, actually, yeah, I did. Yeah, and he got the first blood with Rocket Flare.
Yeah. And he just completely greeted it out with from the support position Clock. He had like Spirit Vessel Ags at 30 minutes on Clock because he was just flaring stuff all game. Very fascinating. You'd think it kind of makes him useless, but I don't know. I'd have to watch the game back to see exactly what he did the rest of the time.
Oh.
Ico not looking much more useful despite having no points in Flare.
No.
And Duster might be meeting his same fate. No lift for 5. Fade Bolt in 3. Cinder Brew's coming up, so you'll be able to activate that.
Yep.
That's a lot of damage.
Gets the slow with the bonus damage and will chase down Duster as well. So NoPing putting on the pressure down bottom. They're hunting for the TB, but he's back at the safety of his tower.
The Vanguard on this Axe allows him to pressure the PL so well.
Yes.
I would like them to consider bringing a support top or even like Brewmaster top at this point since he's only level 5. I don't think you have to keep this pressure up. I think you should just let somebody else have top lane because PL doesn't want to be here anymore. Why not just rotate like a level 8 or 9 PL to the bottom lane and let somebody else who's less farmed take this top lane of farm? Because even then, PL can't contest this Axe. Look at what he's forced to do.
I guess
it's this Axe.
Can either of those supports even lane against Axe?
You just Fade Bolt
down,
and stand under your tower, and it allows the Brewmaster to potentially TP and do something about it. I just see no reason to put your PL, your strongest hero at this point in the game, even though it's a PL, against this Axe, who he does not match up well against. I think he could put a lot of pressure on the bottom lane, potentially force the Axe to rotate out of top, opening up the space on the map. I think it's just a very greedy carry play from Costa Bile here to put himself so high level in a lane that he can't actually contest. That's what I'm saying. He could easily pressure this Terrorblade, but Axe now leaving, so he should definitely look to go back top on PL. And TA, double damage rune activated. The call, though. With
the Brewmaster split, they really want to fight this mid lane, and Axe could be in some trouble here. I don't think he accounted for all this. The Cookie going to stun him up as well now. They're all in on this sexy fat Axe, and he's the top net worth hero, so big kill for them to be getting. Furia going to drop a Requiem, going to catch out 3 with the Fear, and he's going to get himself a double kill.
Wow.
Murdoch, nice play.
They walked straight into that one. Yep. He was sitting in the trees, and they were all almost point-blank range.
Tavo's committed with the Primal Split under the tower. He does not have a good escape. He's going to go down as well. They get 3 in return for the Axe's life.
I'm pretty sure they should have just been content with that Axe kill. I was surprised they kept chasing. Usually, like, you get these big kills on the Axe, and you're like, oh, their strongest hero's dead, get him. But you also used a lot of spells to kill that Axe, and you have to be very wary of the fact that the opponent team's like, hey, guys, they used everything on our Axe. Let's potentially look to turn it, and that's exactly what happens. I'm surprised that the Axe left top. I would be content laning against PL until I get a Blink Dagger. That's what I'm thinking. As long as the opponent's not absolutely going nuts, you know, diving my tier 1s or whatever, I would want to keep my farm up on this Axe because he's going to have such high impact with an early Blink Dagger. And it's like the opposite of the reason why I want the PL to leave top. Axe is at the advantage top, so I don't want to leave. He does go for the 8 strength talent. Kind of surprised with the fact that he is so farmed. I see a lot of Axes this farmed when they have this many items to go for the 40 attack speed. It is a lot of farm speed and damage when you're blink calling people.
He's already got so much health.
That's what I mean. It's diminishing returns on your health pool there.
Yep. Hook shot. Going to catch out Rubik at the outpost here. He does get the lift to put him on the high ground, though, and just stealing the cogs.
He's actually going back for the max flare. He left his battery assault at 2 points.
Okay.
So he might be copying Schofield there.
Yeah.
Or maybe Schofield copied him. Oh, dunk on the courier top. Does put it on cooldown, but gives him a little bit of movement speed, attack speed to clear this creep wave. Puts him really close to his Blink Dagger. TA working on, did go for the Blink Dagger first on TA, so he's looking to be a bit more active. I don't mind it.
And they're going to look to try to force this fight down the bottom lane. Rubik gets caught to start things off as SF thinks about channeling a Requiem. Going to think twice. Yeah,
it's a level 5 Snapfire. By the way, that's a level 5 Snapfire at 13 minutes into the game. Right. Level 6 Rubik. The supports for NoPing are hurting. I think Ogre is perfectly fine operating on lower levels, and he's actually already level 7.5.
He's fine. He's got that max Bloodlust ready to go buff up his carries.
He's got a very clear-cut plan. I'm going to sit behind my SF, who's pretty damn farmed, and Bloodlust him.
Yep.
But, you know, the PL problem is inevitable for this lineup. And Terrorblade never really deals with PL. So it's the point where can they basically end this game in terms of objective taking before the PL comes online. And nice Blink Dagger usage in the mid lane. No Blink Dagger yet on Axe. Still 100 gold off. Still surprising he's coming to these fights, man. Go get your Blink Dagger. It's so weird to me, especially when support Earthshakers are like coming to team fights and pubs and stuff. And you're like, dude, you realize you'd be 10 times more effective if you just wait like a minute or two until you're... having that discipline, though, is really tough to know that you're not supposed to be helping your team. I'd just much rather my super farmed Axe have that Blink Dagger before he's helping me out.
It feels like it can be a very tough balance when you have these greedy carries on your team, because you also understand if you're playing too greedy, this Terrorblade may be having a rougher time as well.
Well, you want to be playing up in their face, right? You want to be forcing reactions to you such that while you're farming, you're not effectively off the map. You know, you're still in the game. It's just you're not in the game as a response hero, a team fighting hero. You're as a constant pressuring hero.
Yep.
And then once you get this Blink Dagger, you know, light switches on. You know, you're ready. You're time to go. Go time. They do just reveal the Blink Dagger mid on the tower vision and then blink to the high ground to farm a neutral camp. So a bit strange there.
You'd rather they go for some kind of smoke play or like
what I'm
surprise
saying
blink.
Is when I watch really good players, like tier 1 players, I mean, it just looks really crisp. Everything makes sense, right? You'll see this Axe. He's going to play top until he gets that Blink Dagger. He'll buy as many items prior to the Blink Dagger based on how long he thinks he's supposed to stay there. So if he thinks he's supposed to stay there till 12 minutes, he'll buy however many items he thinks he can buy before he fits in the Blink Dagger. And they're going to stay top, farm up that Blink Dagger, make a smoke play, and go kill somebody, right?
Yep.
It just seems not crisp from FURIA. And this is something where... you have this ideal scenario you're going for, and you want to come as close as possible as hitting it. And I think it's just been a little bit all over the place from Sexy Fat, deciding whether or not he wants to fight before the Blink Dagger. And then once he gets the Blink Dagger, seems quite content to just reveal it. So usually when you're middle ground on a bunch of things, it means you're being slightly inefficient. Yep. But meanwhile, bottom lane, he does go for the SNY on PL. A pretty standard reaction for anyone wondering why he isn't going Manta. Status resistance is the only way to deal with Axe Call. It is just you can't BKB. You can't really reliably dodge it unless you just want to play like a wimp the entire fight. So SNY is the natural way to go about it. Vlad's on the brew. They're all ready to fight. This PL can show up despite having no defusal. He's getting a free tier 2 bottom, by the way, so that's a very early tier 2.
And while this is going on, they want to try to start the fight. They're going to drop the Snapfire ultimate as well. The Mortimer's Kiss is raining down on the Shadow Fiend, but they do cancel it with the Clockwork Hookshot. Murdoch's still in all sorts of trouble here. Will not get off the Requiem before dying. TA's Blink leading the way as they look to chase for more. Yeah, he's rotated in. He's found an Ogre. Duster not going to go for any kind of a TP out. Will be chased down by Costabile. No escape for him. Just a matter of who gets the kill, not if they get it. And it's going to be 40 hour on the TA with the Blink Snipe. 2-0 going NoPing's way. And a Courier Snipe. Oh, no. Whoa. That was an uphill miss, I guess. Okay. We will not get the Courier.
The reason why I've been harping a lot on the Axe this game is you just have two heroes that were 1v1, right? And whenever you have 1v1ers, when the other side lane is getting tri-lane, that 1v1, the impact of each hero in the game almost always determines the outcome of the game. And I just see this high net worth Axe who's 1-1-1 in terms of K to D.
Yes.
And that really is alarming to me when you compare him to the PL, who's not exactly supposed to be participating. Yeah, he's 0-1-1, but it's a PL, right? You're comparing it to a carry whose job is to be hitting creeps, and he's hit a lot of creeps. He's at 180 CS 16 minutes into the game. And once he gets that defusal, this game does not get easier. The matchup between PL and Terrorblade got heavily shifted when level 3 of Sunder costs 50 mana instead of 0, because only against PL does it really matter, because you just run out of mana over the course of a fight. He did go for the 20% evasion. The talent buffs to Terrorblade's level 10 have been very nice for him. It used to be 10%, then they made it 15, then they made it 20, which is worth considering in terms of, it used to pretty much just be a 20 movement speed talent so that you could farm faster. They did buff the movement speed a little bit too, but the fact that they have PA or PL and TA, the evasion seems to be just a bit too value here.
It's pretty crazy when you think, because Lifesteal has 20% evasion at level 20.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, obviously every hero is balanced in different ways, but yeah.
It's weird that PL and Terrorblade could have 20% evasion talents, and half the time they still don't take them. That's like you look at PL, he takes 20 attack speed, right? It's funny because you think of evasion at level 10 being the same as it is at level 20 for Lifestealer, but at 10 minutes into the game, most carries don't give a shit about evading.
Yep.
They want to farm faster, right? So it's like this opposite scenario, whereas as Lifestealer, once you have 2,500 health and 3 items, you'd love that extra 20% evasion. So is it really that much better to have the evasion talent at 10 than it is to have it at 20? You know what I mean? It's kind of interesting how that works, personally. You want that talent to accelerate your farm, not necessarily make you more survivable. But on Terrorblade, I think it's kind of okay for him to take the evasion, because he is going to be participating in fights. He has an SNY of his own. They're looking to force a Roshan. Looks like they are none the wiser on the Dire side. Did they not have a TA pit? Did they have a TA trap in there?
I don't know if they had a trap, but they've scanned it, so they do know what's going on.
They seem to be very slow to address this. No Diffusal Blade on PL yet.
I think they just maybe felt they had more time, or they're just choosing not to contest it, but they outgathered around the pit just a little bit too late. Brewmaster Split was on cooldown, so I think a big part of this was just the ultimates being down, and that's why Furia felt confident they could walk into the pit and take a Roche.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. They didn't have Diffusal yet. They didn't have the Brewmaster cooldown. They did get the mid-tier one, so nothing, like, it wasn't just nothing that they got off of the time that they were taking Roche, but denying TA a Roche is a pretty big deal. The thing is, though, TA, if she's paired, you know, with a semi-carry type hero, then she's meant to carry you. But PL is the be-all, end-all win condition here. And TA's job this game is pretty much just going to be to snipe one guy with the benefit, or with the, like, in tandem with your Rubik. You know, you plus Rubik is supposed to be a lot of damage to maybe kill one guy at the start of the fight. And if you trade TA for one other hero, it might actually not be that bad in fights right now. They are smoked up looking. 40R doesn't even have that Desolator yet. 20 gold off. Maybe they could be a bit more patient. The Diffusal's just now getting delivered to Costa Bile. I don't exactly know why they feel so forced to do something. I think it's just the Metamorph being on cooldown, that they don't necessarily feel forced, but they just think they can. You know, why not?
Yeah. Even though Aegis on Furia's side, yeah, they have the confidence. They just picked up the pipe on Brewmaster, so all 3 cores are finishing their big mid-game items. The Diffusal on the PL, the Des on TA,
this
the
may
pipe
be go
Brew.
time. Yeah, they just straight up pop the split.
Okay. Can they bring Sexy Fat back? They're going to lift him, pull him back in. He's still very, very tanky. Has the sick charges, which is going to allow him to get off of Berserker's Call, and with the Mortimer's Kisses, they're going to kill off Heiko here. As it looks like SF trying to commit to this one just gets deleted. He does not have the Aegis. The Aegis is on the TB, so that just opens up high ground for them.
That was a good old Clockwork versus PL play. You get 2 illusions on you, and then he eventually decides, hey, I'll just go on this Clockwork, and then he dies. That's the Clockwork experience against PL there. 2 buybacks.
And I think you're just happy to disengage if you're NoPing. You're going to be careful not to get caught
in
a fight here. Are they going to let him go, though? PL, he looks to go back in. He's re-engaged onto Heiko, but we'll back off here as the stun's going to rain on. Axis just getting kited. He can't get in close for a Blink Call. He can't get off the Blink Dagger. Unable to find the initiation. As a result, they're going to lose Duster's Ogre there in the front lines. Doppelganger forward is not going to catch Heiko, who has the help of the Cogs to push him back. But while this is going on, Tier 3 tower luckily protected by the backdoor protection, and with 20 minutes hitting, only one of the 2 outposts, but Bounty Runes should all be claimed by NoPing.
I thought they were going to be more fearful of the Terrorblade Metamorphosis, but he was pretty low mana and pretty late to the fight, so they were perfectly content to protect their Brewmaster as well as turn it for a support kill.
And still just the SMY on this TB. He feels like he needs that second big item before FURIA can ideally take a big fight.
I think the main reason why Terrorblade scales poorly against PL is because Terrorblade's generally forced to go for a BKB and PL's never forced to go for a BKB, which naturally makes any matchup in the carry role good for one hero. In this case, they are trying to make use of this Aegis timing. Smoked up. Clockwork does have that maxed out flare as we talked about, but I don't even see him flaring creep waves or anything, so not making the best use of that. Brewmaster working on a Blink Dagger of his own. Going to use that Metamorphosis just to take a tier 2. I'm going to be honest, the tier 2 mids are pretty much do-nothing towers. You don't really gain anything other than the gold itself. The map control doesn't really change all that much. So even if they do get this, NoPing are perfectly fine to give it up and chase afterwards, I believe.
Yeah, they can fight towards the end of this Metamorph, potentially. The tower not even dropping just yet. They've got Primal Split back up, so very much a scenario where it feels like NoPing want to fight there. Chasing on in now. They're going to throw the Primal Split out. Ardio's been bloodlusted, thrown up in the air. There's no TB. Clockwork goes down without a single spell being cast. Duster's next. TB finally drops from the Cyclone, but he instantly gets brought down. That's the Aegis, but that also means there's no Metamorph when he respawns.
No BKB or anything.
Yep. He's got no way out for himself. Can't get off the Sunder. Even if he did, he almost certainly would have died right afterwards.
Playing Clockwork this game just sounds so miserable, man. I'm just watching him. You just get gone on by Peel at some point, and you go, what do I do? Okay, I'll click Battery Soul, click Flare, click Hook. Oh, wait, they surrounded me on all sides. I'm dead. Okay.
And even looking at the two supports, both supports basically counters to Clockwork. You've got Rubik Telekinesis and Snapfire with the cookie.
Yeah. And even though I talked about the struggle of the NoPing supports being super low level 13 or 14 minutes into the game, just looking at their impact in these fights, Ogre's basically 50 attack speed or whatever, and Clockwork's 2 seconds of PL's time. That's what Clockwork is.
And the one thing Clockwork did, at least in one of the fights, is he is able to cancel the Snapfire ultimate, but
that has to be at the start of the fight, too. Once PL gets on top of you, there really is no escaping it. That's the problem. You have nothing you can actually do about it. They do lift up the SF. Still no BK because he was forced to buy back. Rack's already down, going on the TA here.
Requiem coming out. It's going to do some good damage here. The TA in trouble. Will get brought down.
Sunder.
But Sunder comes out. Ardio, the cookie in. Ardio's been stunned up by that. He's completely trapped. They have no answer to this PL, it feels like.
Oh, the stolen Sunder to heal him to full.
So nice from the Rubik. And they're just charging on in. GG is called. NoPing convincingly dominate game 2.